Have you ever felt like no one truly prepared you for what life after 80 would be like? It's not just about aging joints or slower mornings. There are deeper, more surprising shifts that happen around this stage of life that most people don't talk about until it's already happening. Sometimes they creep in quietly, other times they hit you like a wave. Either way, if you're not aware, they can take you by surprise and leave you wondering what just happened. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 shocking realities people often face after turning 80. These are not just facts about aging, but things that change how you're seen, how you feel, and how you move through the world. Some of them are hard to swallow, but all of them are important to understand, because being aware gives you the power to face them with strength and dignity. Stay with us until the end, because we're not just going to open your eyes. We're going to show you how these truths, while uncomfortable at times, can actually help you live with more clarity, confidence, and peace. Let's get started. Number 1. People stop asking for your opinion, even when you've lived through more than they have. One of the hardest truths that hits many people after 80 is this quiet shift. You go from being the person others seek out for advice to someone they politely nod at and then ignore. You could have lived through wars, raised families, run businesses, fixed broken homes with your bare hands, but the moment your hair turns white and your steps slow down, people start assuming your insight has expired. It's not that they mean harm. Often, they don't even realize they're doing it. You'll notice it in the way conversations change. Younger folks might smile and nod when you speak, but they're already formulating their next sentence. You give a suggestion, and it's quickly dismissed, not with rudeness, but with that subtle tone that says, "That's not how we do things anymore." It's frustrating, not because you want to control anything, but because you know how much trial and error got you here. This shift can hit especially hard in families. A son who used to ask for your opinion before making big decisions might now just inform you afterward. A daughter-in-law might ask how you're feeling, but never ask how you see things. You go from contributor to observer in your own family. What's behind it? A cultural myth that wisdom has an expiration date. That new equals better. That old means irrelevant. But deep down, most people still crave steady hands and calm voices. They've just forgotten how to recognize them. And here's the quiet irony. The less you push your opinions, the more people tend to listen when you do speak. Your restraint becomes your power. Your lived experience becomes a kind of quiet authority that doesn't need to shout. So if this is something you've noticed, don't let it make you bitter. Let it make you sharper. Fewer words, more weight. Your voice still matters. It's just that now it carries power when you choose your moment carefully. Number 2, you start attending more funerals than birthdays. It's something nobody really tells you when you're in your 20s or 40s. A calendar full of birthday parties, weddings, and new babies gives life its rhythm. But somewhere along the road, often quietly, without warning, that rhythm changes. By the time you hit 80, you find yourself pulling out darker clothes more often than party hats. The gatherings shift from celebration to farewell, and with each one, a little more of your past seems to vanish. What makes this so jarring isn't just the grief, though that alone is heavy. It's the repetition. Month after month, Someone you knew, someone who made up a part of your story, is suddenly gone. Friends you used to laugh with, neighbors who used to sit on their porches, old co-workers who once felt like family. Little by little, the crowd thins, and the silence afterward lingers a little longer. There's also a strange guilt that creeps in, the guilt of still being here. Some people call it survivor's guilt. You begin to wonder, why am I still around when so many good people aren't? You might feel relief for escaping certain illnesses or accidents, but also an aching emptiness for those who didn't. And because everyone around you is dealing with their own losses, people don't always talk about it. They might offer a hug at a service, then never bring the person's name up again. That silence can make the grief feel even heavier. What many don't realize is that this constant exposure to loss wears on the soul. It can make you hesitant to connect with new people, afraid of losing them too. Or it can make you overly attached, clinging tighter to those who remain. Neither is wrong. It's your heart trying to protect itself. But it's important to remember this. Every loss you felt is proof that love was there, that a connection was real, that you lived with depth and care. And as difficult as it gets, those who remain, those who still call, still visit, still care, matter more than ever. Because when you're 80 and up, love doesn't have to be wide, it just needs to be deep. A few close relationships can carry more warmth than a room full of people. So grieve when you need to. Speak their names, share their stories, let your tears honor the bond, but also let yourself keep living, not just existing, but truly living, even through the loss. That's the legacy they'd want you to carry. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, doctors treat you like a checklist, not a person. It often starts subtly. You sit down in the exam room. The nurse takes your blood pressure, jots it down, then runs through a few standard questions. Sleep, diet, medications. The doctor walks in, glances at the chart, asks how you're doing, but doesn't really wait for the answer. Before you can finish describing that strange ache in your back, or how your energy has dipped over the last month, they're already moving on to the next item. This isn't about bad doctors. Most of them care deeply. But as you age, something shifts in how the system sees you. You stop being a person with a story and start becoming a collection of symptoms, pills, and warnings. Your past, your preferences, your personality, those things begin to fade into the background as protocols and forms take center stage. And it's not just frustrating, it can feel dehumanizing. You know your body better than anyone. You know what's new, what's different, what just feels off. But too often, that lived-in knowledge gets dismissed. You might hear, "That's just part of getting older," or, "At your age, we usually expect that." It's as if age is the diagnosis and everything else is just routine maintenance. This kind of treatment can be dangerous, not just to your health, but to your dignity. When you're brushed off or rushed through, you might stop speaking up. You might start doubting yourself. You might even begin to think, maybe I'm just overreacting, when in reality, something real needs attention. There's a reason seniors often feel hesitant to go to the doctor. It's not just about the co-pays or the cold waiting rooms. It's about feeling unseen. It's about walking out of an appointment more confused than when you walked in. And when you don't feel listened to, you're less likely to follow through on treatments, ask questions, or advocate for yourself. But here's something worth remembering. You have every right to be heard. You have earned the right to ask questions, to challenge quick answers, to request more time. You have the right to say, "Wait, I'm not done yet," when someone tries to move you along too quickly. And you don't have to accept a one-size-fits-all approach to your care. Some of the best care you'll ever receive will come not just from experts, but from professionals who see you as a full human being, someone with history, with context, with dignity. And sometimes you'll need to advocate to find them. It's not easy, but it's worth it. You're not a checklist. You're a whole story still unfolding. Don't let anyone treat you like a footnote. Number 4, your body might still be here, but your reflection doesn't always feel like you. There's a moment that hits many people after 80, and it's hard to put into words. You walk past a mirror or catch your reflection in a shop window, and for a second, just a second, you wonder who that is. The man or woman staring back at you has your eyes, your frame, your familiar posture, but something feels unfamiliar. Then realize, no, that's you, but it doesn't always feel like you. This disconnection can be one of the most startling and emotional realities of aging. You still feel sharp inside. You still remember how it felt to run upstairs, to dance without effort, to stand tall without a second thought. But your skin tells a different story now. Your muscles, joints, and hair have quietly gone through their own journey, often without asking your permission. And suddenly, there's a gap between how you feel and what you see. It's not vanity. It's identity. It's about reconciling the inner spark that hasn't changed with the outer shell that has. You still carry memories of being 30 or 50 or even 70, of how you looked and moved and felt. But now the physical reminders are softer, slower, less familiar. Even your smile, your hands, the way you sit. They've evolved, often without warning. And the world doesn't make it any easier. Ads, media, even well-meaning compliments can make you feel like youth is the only version of beauty worth celebrating. As if once your skin wrinkles or your hair fades. But here's the truth most people don't realize. There is nothing more beautiful than someone who's lived fully and shows it. Your wrinkles? They're not flaws. They're proof. Proof that you've smiled, worried, laughed, cried, and kept going. Your slower walk? That's resilience. It means you're still here, moving forward, and your reflection, no matter how different it seems now, is still you, wiser, more layered. Sometimes the hardest part is adjusting your own expectations. Letting go of the younger version of yourself doesn't mean losing who you are. It means making space to honor every version you've been and giving credit to the version you are now. You're not fading. You're evolving. You're carrying stories no one else can tell. And the reflection you see? It's not a stranger. It's someone who has lived through decades and still shows up with courage and grace. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, the world around you moves too fast, and you're expected to keep up or be left behind. There comes a point where the pace of the world starts to outstrip your own, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, culturally. After 80, it's not uncommon to feel like the world you once knew has morphed into something unrecognizable almost overnight. And the hardest part? Everyone else seems to expect you to just adapt without pause. It shows up in everyday moments. You go to pay for groceries and find yourself facing a self-checkout machine with flashing buttons and no clear instructions. You try to make a doctor's appointment, but now it's all online portals and long menus with robotic voices. You receive an invitation to a family event, but it's through a text group you weren't even added to. Life has sped up, and somewhere along the line, it stopped waiting for you. This feeling of being left behind can create an invisible kind of isolation, not because people don't care, but because they assume you're keeping up. Or worse, they don't notice that you're struggling. What used to be a simple phone call now requires remembering passwords, navigating apps, and scrolling through menus that were clearly designed by people under 40. Even conversations can feel foreign, full of slang, memes, and references that don't connect. It's not about being out of touch. It's about being overwhelmed by constant change that you never asked for and didn't grow up with. You've adapted your whole life through wars, recessions, cultural revolutions. But after a certain point, when every update comes with a learning curve, the energy to keep learning starts to wear thin. And yet, you're still expected to perform, to stay reachable, to be with it. If you express frustration, you're labeled as resistant or set in your ways. If you ask for help, people get impatient or say, "It's easy, just tap here." The pace doesn't slow. It assumes you'll speed up. But here's something worth saying out loud. You don't owe anyone speed. You don't need to rush to fit into a mold that wasn't designed for you. There's nothing wrong with choosing slowness, with wanting clarity over convenience, conversation over clicks. In fact, the wisdom and presence you bring into the room often offer more value than the latest app ever could. Instead of fighting the current, you can choose where to step in and where to step back. You can ask for help without apology. You can set boundaries around the pace that works for you, and you can remind those around you that experience is not a thing to be outpaced. It's something to be leaned on. The truth is, the world may not slow down, but that doesn't mean you have to race to keep up. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to move at your own rhythm and let others remember why it matters. Final thoughts. Now that we've walked through these 5 realities, take a moment to breathe, not to feel overwhelmed, but to feel seen. Because these aren't just random facts about getting older. They're truths that many people carry quietly, often alone. And recognizing them doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. Maybe one of these hit home more than the others. Maybe you've noticed all 5. The point isn't to feel discouraged. It's to realize you're not alone and you're not imagining it. These shifts are real, and facing them with honesty is one of the strongest things you can do. You've lived through more than most people can imagine. You've adapted, endured, laughed, grieved, and loved your way through decades. Just because the world isn't always built to honor, that doesn't mean your value has faded. In fact, it's the opposite. You're carrying something the world needs now more than ever: clarity, calm, perspective, and resilience. So take these insights and hold them close. Let them remind you that it's okay to speak up when you feel overlooked. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be frustrated. And it's more than okay to move at your own pace, to honor your experience, and to choose what feels right for you. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.